All right, guys, want to share with you a conversation. I had a pair of conversations right now. Just got off the phone, so this is total free form. I'm just getting here on the camera and want to share some thoughts with you. If you're new to, my name is James, a retired banker. I was an investment banker. I was in mergers and acquisitions, and I was asked to come in and consult on a I'm retired, but people know I'm in the business, and so I got called to look at a deal, to look at a let's just say it's an engineering service. It's an engineering service and a out of market uh, would be competitor. They're just not in the same geographical market as the business owner I was consulting for, and this other he's in the Midwest. He's in the Midwest, and his company has a foothold in a very specific market in the West Coast, even though his companies are the Midwest. And another West Coast company can't crack the code and wanted to purchase his company because of this very specific engineering service that they're doing. And they think that it would be a great addition to what they're doing. They do something a little bit different. It would give them more services to offer their clients. But the biggest thing is they could get into this particular market in the West Coast that they have been unable to crack. So I got a call. Hey, can you just help look at this deal? It's in the very beginning of the negotiation for this acquisition. It's an acquisition. They would purchase the company and then they would merge it in with their existing operation. So my thoughts on the subject that I want to share with you. You may or may not be a business owner, but you may be building a business now, or you may be thinking about building a business. One thing that you eventually are going to have to come to terms with is an exit strategy. Are you going to build a business for several years and then retire and sell that business? Or are you going to have a legacy business? So this business that I was consulting for, there there are a set of partners. There's one main principal, and when he's done, he's going to sell the business, and then he is going to not own that business anymore. His children aren't going to own the business, or what have you. On the other hand, I have another friend who his father started a business. They're let's just say they're in the petroleum business, and in the United States in the petroleum business. He learned the business and he's taken over that business for his father. And now he has a child that loves the business as well, has grown around the business. They're in university, they're over in university and they're learning all the business things because they love the family business. So it's actually going to be a third generation family business when all said and done. But that's not the case for a lot of businesses. For most businesses, you may be passionate about something and your kids, even if they're in the business, they may not be as passionate as you, and there may not be someone to leave it to. Um, so my friend is very fortunate in that his dad started a business. He likes a business. They do very well in that business, and one of his children likes the family business and wants to learn it and wants to take it over as well. But that's generally not the case. That's generally not the case. I can tell you, none of my kids at all like finance. I've all required them to take economics, go to college, and I've got one of my oldest daughter. She is a math whiz. She would do great in finance. She thinks in numbers. We play math games and things like that. She is very good at math, better at me than at math than me because she really likes math. Not interested at all. None of my kids are interested in any of my professional things. They're all going their own, which is great because that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So if you are a, and once again, folks, this is unscripted. This is just I got off this phone call about maybe 17. I started the call maybe about 43 minutes ago, and it was over a 20-minute call on this consulting thing. So it's fresh in my mind. I just want to share with you that if you own a business, if you're thinking of owning a business, you don't have to worry about it now, but eventually you're going to have to think about your exit strategy. Are you just going to close the doors? Why just close the doors when you can build something that you can sell? that you can sell. And what does a sell look like? Well, you can sell the business outright. Now, I'm talking generalities here because, it depends what kind of business you have. If you have a brick and mortar business, then that sale is going to be a lot different than you have a services business. Do you have a manufacturing business? Do you have a consulting business? Is it a service business? Is there equipment? Is there a lot of liabilities? Are there is there a lot of equipment? If you have a manufacturing business or you have a business like this one engineering uh, firm, they have lots of expensive, very specific machinery and computers and things to do that business and lasers and what have you. That's going to look very different than someone who's going to sell a laundromat or I don't want to talk about like restaurants and things like that because I'm not saying those are a dime a dozen, but there's nothing necessarily proprietary about that. But if you're building a business that you want to think eventually, how are you going to exit this business? And then when you know when you want to exit the business and how you're going to exit that business, and if you're going to sell that business, then you're going to want to start making decisions that are going to increase the value of your business when you sell it. You may want to bring down some of those liabilities on the business so that it's more attractive to a purchaser that doesn't maybe want to take on a lot of debt. You may want to, at the same time, inversely, maybe you might want to update your machinery and your computers and other things so that you look more attractive to a new buyer that's going to, I'm going to buy this business and they've got relatively the latest and greatest in our field. So there's lots of things that you want to look at. So once again, this is just raw off the top of my head, just stuff I want to share with you because I had two calls. I had the call to this person I was consulting with, and then I talked to someone else that I did business with 10 or 15 years ago that they have gone through a couple mergers and acquisitions, and I asked them how they did it. How they structured it because I'm consulting with one party and how they could put this package of this deal together. Once again, they would be their enterprise would be the one that's being acquired. And then so I talked to someone I did business with 15 years ago. Hey, I know you did your deal like this, and that. Give me some specifics again. How did you do that? And they go, oh yeah, James, we did this, and that. So generally speaking, just in generalities, a lot of times when you're looking at selling your business, if you're selling a business where you're just going to sell it and walk away, that's going to look very different. But a lot of them aren't like that. You're going to want to sell the business and then stay on for a while. What does that look like? Well, that might look like you get 60%, 70%, 80% cash at closing. You're going to have some sort of maybe employment contract where you're going to work for the buyer or the company acquiring your business. You're going to be in that business 18 months, 12 months, 24 months. You're going to sign a non-compete so that they don't want you to sell they don't want to buy your business and then immediately you go become their competitor. There's going to be generally speaking, some sort of non-compete, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months. A lot of times they're going to want you to stay on board for a certain amount of time, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And that's what an exit might look like. So let me back up a second here because I don't want to be too long. I know I'm all over the place. I'm just excited because as I told the person I was consulting with, they're like, wow, like they noticed that I was really engaged in this. And I was like, this is fun for me. This is fun for me. I've been, I haven't been consistent. I haven't been in the investment banking business for a long time. So it's almost like fun to delve back into that and look at a potential deal. So when you're going to sell the company and you're going to stay on, generally you're going to have some sort of cash at close. Think of it like as if you purchased a home, you're going to have a due diligence phase. That would be like equating it to a real estate transaction. That's going to be when you're doing your home inspections and your appraisals and all that kind of stuff. If you're buying investment property, or income producing property, then you'll be more familiar with this. That's where you're going to look at the cash flow, the leases, all that kind of stuff. And then so during this, when you enter an agreement, there's going to be this due diligence phase. And then at the closing of that, you're going to get some cash at closing. Then there's usually going to be some sort of tail end of that. And then you'll get the rest of it 35, 40, 25, 15%. For instance, one of the deals I just looked at today was they got 85% cash at close, and then there was a tail of 15% that they were going to get later. Now it's to cover some possible liabilities and what have you. Anything that wasn't disclosed during due diligence that may come back to bite it was to protect the buyer. And then after that 24, 36 months was done, then they would release other 15, 20%, 10%, whatever the case may be. So generally, and this is again generalities, you're going to get some kind of upfront cash at close. You're going to have some sort of employment contract to work for, let's say 24 months. You're going to have 18, 24 months of that is going to be a non-compete. It could be 36 months where you're not going to start a new business and compete with them immediately. You're going to have this employment so that the employees and everyone in the enterprise that you sold, for them, it's going to be business as usual. It's going to be kind of a gradual transition into the new entity that has bought or acquired your company. And then after that employment period is up, you can exit, and then you can do your own thing, and then you can take the rest of the cash off the table. So if you have a business and you eventually want to get out of it, if you want to maximize your income, not just from your business, but from selling the income, you're going to want to make certain decisions way before you actually want to exit. For instance, if you want to exit, let's say in 5 years, well, in about a year or 2 years from now, you want to start looking at building a business so it looks attractive to a buyer, and then know that to get the best deal, but once again, depending on the industry you're on, you're going to have to still want to stay with that business for a year, 18 months, or 2 years after you've sold it before you're completely done. And then you can grab your last bit of money off the table and then retire or start a new business or go on to something else. So anyway, once again, unscripted, just raw thoughts I have on exit strategy and selling your business, and just the mindset and some things to think about if you're a business owner. This is James, the Retired Banker.